Roomster has no problems with corrosion resistance. Over time, on older cars, the limit switches built into the door locks may fail. The ECU does not see the opening and closing of the door. The power windows and their key block located on the driver's door may be disturbed. See weaknesses. Inside, Skoda connoisseurs will easily recognize the dashboard borrowed from the Fabia. The interior of the civilian versions is made of quality materials. Compared to them, the plastic finishing of Practic Pies is harder and cheaper for the sake of their commercial and budgetary orientation. They also have worse sound insulation. There is no lining of the rear of the cabin and glazing of the rear side windows. Often there is a metal partition behind the front seats. The stock of legroom in the gallery of civilian versions is enough for a comfortable ride even for tall people, but only small passengers will be comfortable sitting together, and the high and wide central floor tunnel interferes with those in the middle. In Ukraine, the most common petrol roomster. Under the hood of civilian versions, units of 1.4 and 1.6 liters are more common, and commercial Practic, 1.2 liters, as well as a turbo diesel, 1.4 liters. The last two are 3-cylinder, while the gasoline, 1.4 and 1.6 liters are 4-cylinder. The timing of 1.2 and 1.6 liter engines is driven by a chain, and 1.4 liter engines by a belt, which must be changed along with the rollers every 80,000 kilometers. More problems were found in the most modest unit. The weak point of 1.2 liter engines manufactured before 2010 is the timing chain. It can stretch up to 100,000 kilometers, so the condition of this unit must be checked regularly. The chain should be changed along with the gears. Otherwise, there is a risk of chain slippage and, as a result, a fatal meeting of valves with pistons. Fortunately, today there are spare parts for the overhaul of 1.2 liter engines. Previously they were considered disposable. After 2010, the chain was strengthened, and it began to serve longer. In addition, this unit is afraid of starting from the pusher. At the same time, the timing chain can also slip and the valves meet the pistons. The chain tensioner does not provide proper tension due to lack of oil pressure. The 1.2 liter engine is sensitive to temperature conditions. If you do not let it warm up and start moving, it can fill the candles with fuel, manifested by a plume of smoke from the exhaust system, unstable operation, engine shutdown. On both chained motors, about 100,000 kilometers, oil can leak from under the timing chain side cover. The weak point of all units is the wiring harness in the engine compartment, near the battery. Over time the wires harden and break. Failures of individual ignition coils and clogging of the crankcase gas recirculation valve were noted. Idle speed floats. Oil is squeezed out from under the dipstick. Coolant may leak through the temperature sensor on the radiator. Requires replacement of a leaky gasket. All Roomsters are front-wheel drive, most of them equipped with a manual gearbox. Versions with Tiptronic automatic transmission are rare and are equipped only with the most powerful 1.6 liter engine. Both units have proven themselves to be problem-free. No characteristic malfunctions have been identified in them. The hydraulic clutch is also reliable. According to factory requirements, the oil in the manual gearbox is designed for the entire service life, and in the automatic gearbox it must be changed every 100,000 kilometers. The Roomster chassis is moderately rigid and, together with a rather informative steering equipped with an electric hydraulic booster, provides the car with good stability and controllability, even despite the high body. There are no unpleasant rolls during sharp maneuvers. Structurally, it is similar to the Fabia. An independent McPherson is used in front, and a semi-independent, with a torsion beam, in the back. A characteristic weak point of the suspensions is the support bearings of the front struts. They can begin to creak already at 30,000 kilometers. The rest of the suspension is quite durable. The stabilizer bushings can last about 60,000 kilometers, and the struts, up to 100,000 kilometers. Ball bearings and front silent blocks of the front levers, as well as the gum of the rear beam, go 150 to 200,000 kilometers. The rear silent blocks of the front levers until 2008 served only about 40,000 kilometers, but later they were modernized, increasing the resource to 80,000 kilometers. True, it is often difficult to replace them. The cage of the rear silent blocks is fastened with metal bolts to the aluminum subframe, and over time the bolts boil strongly and easily break when unscrewed. As practice has shown, the steering is generally reliable, but it can still give a surprise in the form of a load sensor failure in the electric power steering system or breaking the wiring of its connection. As a result, the amplifier does not work. At the same time, The steering rods can last at least 100,000 kilometers, and the tips even longer. Most versions are equipped with disc mechanisms for all wheels, with the exception of the basic 1.2-liter modifications, which have drum brakes at the rear. During operation, the drums turned out to be more demanding. On average, every 60,000 kilometers they require preventive cleaning. A signal for this will be a creak when braking. Wiring on old cars can be disturbing. There is a breaking of wires in the harness between the doors and body pillars. Lifts, mirror drive do not work, as well as in the engine compartment, near the battery. The weak point of the front suspension is the support bearings of the front struts. They can start to creak after 30,000 kilometers. The power windows may also not work due to the failure of the buttons in the key block on the driver's door. A possible problem with the power windows: when the glass is closed, it then goes down by itself. We recommend the Roomster to those who are not satisfied with the spaciousness and functionality of the Fabia. True, you will have to pay more for these qualities. On average, Roomster costs 10 to 15,000 hryvnias. Dearer than sister. But it's worth it, because according to these disciplines, motorhome is one of the best among competitors.